Yes, we'll be back from the break. This is Smart Means Business. I'm Andrew Barije, and of course, having very amazing discussions throughout this week, all in line with gender equality. But of course, still away from that, we still have some other elements that are happening to this country, concerns that actually need actual interventions in that line. But of course, we shall be hinting on both sides. But firstly, there is quite a very key matter here, still in line with the course of political reforms in this country, Uganda, and of course charting a new path for democratic governance, and of course getting to see how exactly this is likely to impact this country, most especially when it comes to economic growth and development, because we see the policies kind of detect and determine how far, what kind of environment that the business person, the businessman is going to be operating in. Now, I have my reports here briefly. Of course, looking at this aspect from the legal reforms, taking a look at the legal reforms, we shall take a look at the institutional mechanisms, where we see Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, which is a policy that is responsible for policy development and implementation that is in areas of gender equality, social protection and labor. Now, of course, this implements programs like the social assistance grants for empowerment that is aimed at improving the livelihoods of the vulnerable groups. You know, if you take a look at that aspect, and of course taking a look at the Equal Opportunities Commission, which investigates complaints of discrimination and marginalization at the same time, and of course conducts public awareness campaigns on equal opportunities and affirmative action. Yes, and taking a look at the key legislations here, the Domestic Violence Act, CAM 20, that is for 2010, which criminalizes domestic violence and provides protection orders for victims and mandates the establishment of shelters and support services for the survivors. Of course, we shall be hinting on a few bits of gender equality later on into the show. But of course, firstly, we're going to take a look at the political reforms aspect here. Now, I'm joined with Norman Muramuzi, is a political analyst from the PLU, to take a look at the political situation in this country today. If we're talking about political reforms, what does it exactly mean? Good morning, Norman. It's a pleasure to have you again.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here again.
Yes.
I appreciate really what Smart 24 TV is doing in this country.
Yes.
It is great. I appreciate people outside there who have always kept watching and supporting for the good job. Yeah.
Exactly.
I greet Ugandans, and I'm happy to be with you. Yeah.
Okay. Now, taking a look at the course of political reforms in this country, you know, there has been a rumor that has been moving around of Parliament to be the one to elect the president. It's a rumor. It's in the corridors. What does that mean in politics and when it comes to the rights of the citizens of this country?
I think here in Uganda, we put everything in talks.
In talks.
But they don't come into reality. When it comes to reality, then it comes worse.
Okay.
They don't put in action. It is difficult to put in action. I heard of one politician, as you said, is planning to move all around the country. I don't know what he will be doing, but he's about political reforms. He's about electoral reforms.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether it will happen.
Why?
And I don't know.
Why do you think it can't happen? That he's not capable of...
No. Like Uganda is a democratic state. But in reality, I don't know whether it is now. It's why I say it will keep in talks. Yeah. Actions have kept changing. When you consider the time when President Museveni came into power, really he had power. He had the power to do everything. But now, though he is the president, but there are some decisions he takes and they stagnate those decisions.
Okay.
So I don't believe that even though they watch, it will be put into action. But it would be good
Yes.
if it can be done in a democratic way.
A democratic way.
Yes, because we want democracy. If you watch over developed countries like America, that's how they do.
Yeah.
To get a leader is not that everyone will vote, will cast vote. No, it is done through states. Then they make, they put their trust into some categories of people
Yes.
to vote for their president. Like
Okay.
they say now, it will be put into parliament, then parliament will vote for the president. Here we shall not get the good president we want. At least it is better they leave it for the public.
For the public.
Yes, for everyone to cast his or her vote.
But we've done that for all the same, but it turns out to be the same results. Are they the actual results that really come out of the
We are
polls?
not yet at that level
Yeah.
of making reforms. Because when we talk of reforms, it means that we are going to positively change into a system that might turn our country to a certain positive level.
Okay.
But we have not yet reached that level. We have not. If you can find that the parliament can sit for not the intentions of working for the
The public.
but working for their
For themselves.
personal ideas.
Ideas, yes.
It means the elites are not yet mindly mature. Now, if they are not mature to work for the country, how can you trust them? How can the public trust them? Because we have trusted them all the times. But if you see what they are doing, really you see that it is worse. Last time we talked of corruption. They have failed even to manage a simple thing, corruption.
Corruption. Okay.
Will they manage to look for a leader?
If the parliament has failed to fight corruption,
Yes.
how will it be able to vote for
Themselves, themselves in the parliament, they are corrupt. Now how can you put all your trust into a corrupt person
to choose for your
to
leader?
choose for your leader? It is very difficult completely. So
Okay.
I think nowadays we don't have parliament.
What do we have?
We have a hall that consists of groups of people who do work for their own interests,
Okay.
not working for the country. Because a parliament is there to work, is there to take decisions for the public.
But that's true.
But now, the parliament we have is taking decisions for their personal interests. Now someone sitting in a parliament, they give him a commission, they do whatever is needed, he was voted by the public to take the responsibility that he should be taking or that she should be taking, then you find that person is serving his or her own interests. I don't think that person can be trusted to look for us or to vote for us a leader, at least to guide our country. A leader is someone who guides,
Who guides.
not a ruler. Maybe they will get for us a ruler whom they want,
Yeah.
not what the public wants.
Recently, we had a cabinet heading to Chankwanzi. I think it's a week now, following what President Ruto did, firing the cabinet and except the deputy president. Don't you think, and the aim of this is to reset the way things have been running in government,
Can you think of why President Museveni has been in power for so long?
Why?
Museveni is a patriot. He loves the country. Whenever he organizes these people to go to Chankwans, he thinks he will inject into them what he thinks is right.
What he thinks is right.
Yes.
Okay.
But whenever they go there, for them they have their own targets.
Okay, let me ask now. They have their own targets.
Yes.
But why? You've mentioned why he's in power. And we say that we attribute his staying in power to being
Let me touch
right?
on it small.
Okay.
Some people will think President Museveni is corrupt being in power. But President Museveni is a patriot. Mr. Andrew, I can't move with you and we are on order or we are on mission of calling these newspapers, then you take two pieces out of it. Then like we move together, I trust you when I've seen you doing wrong. I will sharpen you for the time that I think you will be okay, but when it reaches the time and I find that you can't afford, I start sharpening another one. This is what President Museveni is always doing whenever he calls these people to Chankwanzi. He thinks he will get someone who can at least lead the country, but all of them he goes with are corrupt. Maybe, or why should I think that those people who died would be at least good people? We lost a lot.
Who died in the war?
Who died in the war? Because if they would be here, at least they would be serving. They don't know where this country has been coming from and where it has reached and where it should go. They only serve their interests. But I don't know. How can you serve your interest in front of a lion? Like you're keeping your rabbit in front of a lion and a lion is hungry. How can you keep it?
Tell me something in line with the age limit.
The
age limit.
The age limit?
Whose idea was it?
It was his idea.
And it coming to pass.
But
don't you think there was money that was dispersed for that age limit to be removed?
Now, I want you to tell me, how can you be given money if you are a patriot for your country and you accept to change the constitution because of money?
No, I'm saying the president gives members of parliament money to tamper with the constitution.
Because he knows they are wicked.
So he's giving them money?
Even if... no, I want you to see here. If they were not wicked, they wouldn't accept.
So was he testing them?
Like he was testing them.
Sure.
Me, that's how I think.
Okay.
But in testing them, it went through. If you're the one and you have, they say, when a cat produces its children, let me call them children, for everyone to understand, it has to come and scares them. When it comes, those which will run will be wild cats. Those which will remain will be cats. Do you know why this Anita Monga was tried by all means to be given powers to run the parliament? By that time she was in the opposition. This deputy speaker was in the opposition. But those people resisted what was happening by that time.
Okay.
President Museveni is watching of who is at least. So, though they are doing what is happening on ground and everything that everyone knows of being corrupt in this country is because now they have been sharpened and they know that they are moving well with the president. It is why they are doing wrong. Because president loved them of what they did. but now they are contributing nothing.
Now, if I may ask you, why is it that when they're prosecuting corrupt officials here, they don't really get to their actual targets? They only get to their subordinates? The actual target.
I think if you've moved well, all the people who have been arrested here are under investigations.
But when will those investigations last? Somehow
We don't know.
Somehow
but
the reports, the reports disappear because a certain person doesn't come from a certain family. Perhaps they are not licensed to be corrupt, but if you are corrupt for the interest, then why did President Museveni make a statement sometime that if we are to go after the corrupt, this government can fall? Doesn't that signify that his government is standing on corruption to be where it is till date?
I think since the year 1995, after the constitution was established, most of Ugandan leaders who were in power by that time didn't move well with the constitution because it was not serving their interests. Because this case you see of multi-party system all started in 1995. Because the constitution didn't maybe cover what they expected, so they started dispersing to serve their own interest. I can show you this great man here. Everyone praises Dr. Chiza Besigye. They one time called him His Excellency because I don't know how they carry that dignity of calling someone His Excellency. Maybe in African countries it has to be like that, but that man, up to still you see that he's not satisfied. Even he left his own party to form another group of people calling them a party.
Yes.
So really this constitution that was formed for Uganda in 1995 dispersed many leaders not to pay attention to their country, but to pay attention to their personal interests.
Okay.
And it has been coming affecting the leadership of Uganda.
Absolutely right.
They said they talked of head tax. They removed head tax. They talked of what? When opposition talks, government works. When opposition talks, government works. But I don't think it is like that. Only government is showing them that also it can do it, because government has all the powers. And even if you are in opposition, you advise, but you don't put into action. Someone in power, when someone in power refuses to do what you're advising, is not a guarantee that he must do that, because he is the holder of the power.
But if he's not doing something right, I'm entitled to correct them.
I think you've always seen opposition collecting government.
Yeah.
But has all ideas been put in action? Not only here. In all governments. Let's watch from this neighboring country, Kenya. What the protesters have said is what the government has done.
At least 80%. The levy, the bill didn't pass, and the
according to the Senate Board of Kenya, they designed now to do like what had happened before. This was not the idea of Ruto. It was the idea of Senate Board to say Moi did this, also do it, because these people you're having in power are not serving Kenya interests.
Okay, it was from the past, but what made them reflect of what happened in the past is the actual incident of the protests.
Is the actual incident of the protest, but I want to tell you this. You protesting does not mean that whatever you're protesting must be changed. You might be protesting because you're ignorant of what is happening in power. Maybe they have been preparing or cooking for a country, but for you, you react before you know what they have been cooking.
When we had a time, for example, in Uganda, where something, for example, fuel, ever declines to its former times, like, shall we ever have a liter at 3.5? Because that's what I'm saying. If you are living in a country whereby fuel, which a liter was at 3.5 or 2,500, is now at 5,000, and in the next 2 years, you don't even have hope that it will ever go below, it will always keep increasing, despite the revenues coming into the country. As a citizen, you get the responsibility. You're like, but well, what's happening? Unless this money is going to someone.
What I only blame.
Yeah.
What I only blame. I've always talked of this. You've asked me a question that when will this thing of not getting actual results stop? Corruption. The government should sit and put enforcement that will lead these people who are corrupt to lose the power. I would be happy if President Museveni does like what has happened in Kenya, to censure all the people, all the cabinet, and at least control the country with army. That's how I think, because
so the army
he's an army man, and he came by force to lead this country, or whether he was coming to rule or to lead, but he came by force. And when he reached in the country, because of being sympathetic, he started collaborating with civilians. These civilians, if you can follow, civilians have been very much corrupt than any other person, because they don't know the reason why this country was fought for.
Okay.
So, like Ruto has done, don't think Ruto is calling the whole of Kenya alone. He's calling it with people. Absolutely. He's calling it with leaders. Right now, I think it's 1 week and something.
Okay.
He's leading the country. Though protests will happen, but I think you have seen what has happened over yesterday.
No, I saw a report where the police banned protests.
Now, no protest more. You protest. You see what happened the other time. They banned the Uganda House in Kenya.
Yeah.
They attacked the parliament and took the stick of speaker. But that is wrong. Taking the stick of speaker is like you've conquered the country. So some people do not protest for the positive matter, but they protest to show that they can.
Okay. Exactly 30 minutes past 9. Time, of course, we're going to take a short break. But of course, when I return, we're going to revisit a story that we covered in international updates about former finance minister on trial. This is from Mozambique. And we'll see what lessons do we draw from this act. Stick around.
Smart 24, driving business.
Moment has arrived.
ወደ ወርቁ ቀርቤያለሁ።
Closer to your champion.
Zakani Simini, I'm a 100 meter sprinter.
Patrick Chinyemba, flyweight category.
Yanuma Seti, BMX racer.
Athlete Worknash Masala Balada.
Stay connected for every medal moment from the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. Get closer to your champions with Supersport on DSTV, the home of entertainment.
This is Jordan. When it comes to classwork, Jordan is magic. Jordan shines. Jordan makes his peers better. Jordan is a true leader. White Star Magic family. Be a leader. Be magic.
Cooking oil like no other makes your meal so sweet and scrumptious. The taste of Uganda, yeah, the taste of Uganda, the taste of Uganda. I want ya.
Days since the last day of last season, we are ready to do it all again.
Phil Foden is having the season of his life. Brilliant! Just brilliant! That is quite something!
Buy a decoder for only 40,000 shillings and get all the football on DSTV. Smart 24, driving business.
Yes, well, we're back exactly 26 minutes to the top of the hour. Of course, in the line of the discussion of political reforms in the country. Of course, later on, we shall be hinting a little bit onto the gender equality shortly. Now, just to kickstart off this particular segment, I'll revisit a report that we did in the international updates that is in line with the Mozambique former finance minister on trial in the United States. Now, the former finance minister in Mozambique has gone on trial in the U.S. over the so-called Tona bond scandal, which came to light in 2016. And part of the charges that is being put in, is being held against is bribes, fraud, and money laundering. And we saw a report where a financial crisis where he borrowed money from various banks and they actually failed. And this money, he claimed that he's borrowing it on behalf of Mozambique, but little did we know that it was for his own. Now, this is happening in Mozambique, and the citizens said that it's better this is done from the US. Otherwise, if he's taken back to Mozambique, he's likely to actually be held with leniency. Now, Norman, we've seen what is happening in Mozambique. Because I'm thinking if we had a state that is corrupt-free, yeah, this is a former minister, a big man. We would be having, that's why I say that, why do we have subordinates and we don't have the main targets that use these subordinates? If we are to say, and if we're talking about the main targets, the president is aware of them. But why does he turn a blind eye?
President Museveni, I think he has always wanted the power. but he is now ready to serve. I don't know whether you will understand, because you might ask me all the time, what has he been doing?
Of course.
I will use this statement, though it is difficult, but they say that the last kick of a dying horse is
the most dangerous.
Is the most dangerous. Even him, he knows, because last time when he was in Koro with the traders, he told them that my time is coming over. You are the owner of this country. Now you should learn how to work for yourselves. You should learn how to work for the country when you are the owners of this country. Because me, anytime I'm going. Now, if you cannot understand the meaning of the last kick of a dying horse, and you have been a minister in the government of NRM, like we see some ministers, like they became ministers since this government started up to now, or maybe through relationships or connections, they have been in power. It is coming to time that you will not believe what will happen to you. Because don't think President Museveni to be in power for this period of time, we have no wise men in the country. Oh, anyone can think he's much wiser than the president. The president will see this, is like a parent. A parent will see this and knows that this son of mine is not well off. Maybe let me try a daughter. He tries also a daughter, and a daughter same. So a president is like a parent, and he has always been a parent because many have gone. Many of those whom he came with have died.
Yeah.
But he has welcomed new people to work with them. What they are doing is completely wrong.
Yeah.
But he's still with them, not killing them. Now, if it comes to the time that he has reached the extent of arresting, I think if they think about you, they start investigations.
We have a report here, Sally Loses Waxy battles with the Titans, where he was, it's clear here, that's what the Daily Monitor says. Now here the New Vision says Ministry of Trade Permanent Secretary detained. Sally faces fraud charges of over 3.8 billion.
Now,
but we need to see more of these from actual figures that can shock us.
That's not only the scandal that has happened here. Scandals have always been happening. Even those that we don't know. Because you see someone starts like an estate, and you ask yourself, why did the estate stop? I saw someone who was in service, started an estate somewhere, and when he left power, it stopped where it had reached. It has never gone beyond since then. I don't know whether he will finish it or not. But these people, when they are in power, they become owners of the power. They don't know that they are entrusted with power.
Yes.
A government is a group of people entrusted with power.
Yes.
So if they entrust you with power, it means that they have allowed you to keep that power for a certain period of time. But after a certain period of time, you will give that power to someone else. This is how the country will keep moving, whether you want or not. Whether you're living or you're dead, the power does not belong to you forever. The power that belongs to the families is like a kingship.
Yeah.
You find the king of Uganda, the kings will always come from that race. that this family of this race will always produce the kings of Buganda. But government, we talk of having a democratic country, in Uganda is a democratic country indeed, though we don't fulfill all. You know, we can say someone is a man, but someone is a man when we are seeing that man moving. But being a man is meaning to manage. You manage business, you manage your home, you manage everything is what makes you to be a man. So a man is a manager.
That's where we fail. At speech, when you're starting this discussion, you said we are so much in talks, but we don't implement. So saying Uganda is a democratic country is related to how you see a man, because you've seen them, the structure. But when it comes to their actions, they are not men. They are boys.
What is needed here in a country now? I told you last time we failed to put into implementation, to implement what we've talked about, to implement the policies, is why the country is failing to go further. I told you that. Now, that corruption, it has the root. And someone who knows the root is President Museveni. I know if he's doing this today that he has never done in the country, let's wait for what will follow. Because he's cooking.
Okay.
He's cooking, let's wait for what he will serve. We have never seen this in our country. Scandals like such have been happening. If we talk of these people who took, whom should I talk? Global Fund, Temangaro,
lots of Gavi, as in Achogam.
So one time I will talk of this Jim Wes. Jim Wes is from my constituency. He's my leader, and he knows me well. Jim Wes asked someone that, were you there fighting?
Who was that? A leader?
He was in court.
Okay.
And he asked someone who was maybe in, as you know what is in court, that, were you there? This is wrong. This is a country. This is not your home. What has affected our country is that we have immature leadership. Among the people we are having in leadership, few are leaders.
Yeah.
But when they put on ties and suits, we see them to be what I've told you, to be men. But initially they are not men. They are shapes of men. Because a man is that person who will implement what he or she is entrusted with. They entrust you with power. You use power to do right.
Exactly.
Not to use power to kill. So, my brother, reforms here will not happen, and we call them reforms. If we have failed to get democracy, and we are a democratic country, everywhere we are a democratic country. In talks, we are a democratic country, but in actions,
authoritarian.
We are a command economy.
Okay.
So, I don't think it will help us. This country needs to be sharpened. It needs to be grown, because if I'm not grown up, my home will not be a grown-up home. You will see I will build a good home after stealing your money, after stealing the money of public. I build the home, I build the company, I employ people, but it's not a company. A company must be a company when it really comes from the brain. But this one, that I want to be known as someone who owns, but in actual sense, when the public owns, if we can go to reality and make accountability of what we have, then you will find that what we have is not ours, is for the public. These people who are not yet mature to serve are the people who are in power, and I don't really believe that they can be entrusted with power to choose a leader who will lead the country economically and other ways to go through.
Very interesting conversation here. Now, in your own opinion, if we are to talk about reforms, what would be the ideal reforms you would think about in the political system?
As I've told you, we are not yet mature enough to think of that, Mr. Andrew. We are not yet mature to think of that. What we should think at our level, there is a course that President Museveni banned, but I would advise my president, because I'm a Ugandan, the president of the Republic of Uganda, I've always talked of this when I'm on air, to bring back political education. For the people to start when they are young, they learn how leadership should be done, how leadership should be controlled. Because leadership is not like you cook in a saucepan cassava, then you serve someone who is bigger than you, you fear him, then you give him big. No. Leadership is serving people equally, is serving the public interests, is serving, even seeking for what the country is not having, searching for the country, not sucking from the country.
Okay.
For nowadays, for this time period, we have not yet learned to reach that state of using a reform system, like saying we shall vote in parliament, we shall have states like we have districts, then we say in every constituency we are going to get a member of parliament, then a member of parliament will go and sit for us, vote for a certain committee. A certain committee will look for the president, will vote for the president. It is not yet here. And I tell you, if we are not serious, it can even continue 100 years when we don't have it, because we are immature. Well, we think this country is our own. This country, we are the pillars today, but peeling for the coming generation. If you don't accept to be a pillar, if you don't know the importance of being a pillar, is why you can't think of your country to be good, is why you can't be a patriot to your country.
Well stated. Norman Muramuzi right there. He's a political analyst from the PLU. He's been dissecting the aspect of political reforms, and in his own opinion, he believes as a country we are not yet mature to transform through a reform system, but rather get back to the roots by President Yoweri Museveni returning back political education to produce mature politicians and leaders for this country. Well, that brings us to the end of today's discussion and the edition of Smart Means Business this particular morning, and wishing you a very happy weekend. Go be productive, reflect on how best you can attack the next week. See you on Monday. Good morning.